And a happy Tuesday morning to you. It is Glenn Clark Radio. I am Glenn Clark. He is Griffin. Got a lot to talk about on a Tuesday morning. Mostly Lamar Jackson's Twitter activity. Ugh. Coming up a little bit later on in the program, Sean Tucker, man who ran for 1,500 yards a year ago at Syracuse. Heisman hopeful. Look, it's tough. Frankly, it's very difficult for any non-quarterback to get into the Heisman conversation. Once upon a time, running backs were as likely as anyone to get into the Heisman conversation. Now it's very difficult for anyone that's not a quarterback to get into the Heisman conversation, but Sean Tucker put up video game numbers at Syracuse last year. And if he can replicate that, will find himself in that conversation as the year goes on. He's an Owings Mills native. He's a Calvert Hall alum. Sean Tucker is going to join us this morning after their practice. They get ready for the season opener against Louisville on Saturday night. Jim Bowden's going to check in with us, of course, former MLB GM, now with CBS and Sirius XM and The Athletic, and I'm pretty sure literally everywhere in media. Jim Bowden's got a new top prospects list out. He does not quite as bullish about Gunnar Henderson as everyone else is. We'll talk to him about that. We'll talk about the decisions the Orioles have made, what decisions they should make, everything along those lines. As Jim Bowden checks in with us, also coming up a little bit later on today, as we do every Tuesday, Simply the Bets. Simply the Bets is brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Every Tuesday morning at 11:40 a.m. We'll also have Weekend at Bookies this week, Thursday morning at 11:40 a.m. as we get you ready for Week 1 of college football season, a loaded Week 1 of college football season at that. Yes, I get it. Two big stories. One, I'm gonna dump cold water on. I am not nearly as worked up about Kenyon Drake as you guys are. This is what happens. We have a problem, and I've talked about this for years in this city. We have a thing with, I've heard of this person, so this matters. It's just a thing we've done forever. Insert name insert all of the running backs a year ago that the Ravens signed. Insert all of the wide receivers the Ravens plucked late off the street over the years. I've heard of this person, so this thing matters. I don't know exactly what this means. I don't. It'll be interesting to see how this goes through. Today's the day they got to put a 53-man roster today, but after today, they're going to put some players on the IR. So it'll be interesting to see if Kenyon Drake is added to the initial 53-man roster, or if he's here being told, hey, hang out for a day, then you'll be on the roster. I think at the bare minimum, what you can read into it is the Ravens are not as bullish as J.K. Dobbins was about where he is. I would think that if J.K. Dobbins was ready to go, ready to be a RB1 come week 1, then the Ravens would say, hey, we can get by with this group of Dobbins, Davis, Hill, Beatty. We can be okay with that until Gus Edwards is ready to come back. Now, maybe they just really love Kenyon Drake, and they just say, well, yeah, we can get Kenyon Drake and get rid of Justice Hill. I'd rather have Kenyon Drake than Justice Hill. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe. But it seems much more likely that it's a statement about J.K. Dobbins. This to me is bad news. There's nothing good to me about Kenyon Drake coming to the Ravens. By the way, credit to her friend and birthday girl, Sarita Hubbard, who was on this a day ago. There's nothing good about this. Kenyon Drake's not solving your problems. Kenyon Drake is not a lead back in the NFL any longer. Kenyon Drake is a body. No offense. If that's where you are, then you got a bigger problem. To me, there's nothing exciting about Kenyon Drake arriving in Baltimore. It's more a statement that the Ravens have greater concerns about what is a very important position to this team, so they have to add another body. So y'all want to be excited about a guy because, again, you recognize his name. That's cool. That's your... This is what we do. Everybody likes getting a shiny new toy. I've heard of this guy. I'm excited about him. He matters. How excited were you about Latavius Murray, Devontae Freeman, other guys whose names you had recognized, you had heard of? How excited were you about, any of these wide receivers? Willie Snead. How excited were you about Michael Crabtree, Des Bryant, Le'Veon Bell? There's a reason these guys are sitting there. Every now and then, one of these guys has more left to offer than the team that let him go realized. But you cannot get me to pretend like I'm excited about the arrival of Kenyon Drake. I'm not. I'm the opposite of that. I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the Ravens at a critical position where they need to be young and dynamic, feeling the need to turn to someone who's not those things. That's concerning. Now, hopefully, it's just about... I hope this has more to do with, say, Mike Davis than it has to do with J.K. Dobbins. I hope this is more of, did we watch this guy run around all camp long? And there ain't nothing there. As we remember, Mike Davis stunk a year ago. Like, again, guy we've heard of. When we've heard of someone, we're excited about it. But Mike Davis wasn't good a year ago.
Yeah, that's the feeling I'm getting as well. Because Gus Edwards, we're going to miss him the first 4 weeks at least.
For sure, yes.
And Dobbins, I guess, is questionable-ish.
We just don't know. Dobbins came back. He's been practicing. We don't know exactly what Dobbins is. I hope this is more to do with Mike Davis than it is to do with Dobbins. That's the best case scenario with this news, is that they're cool with J.K. Dobbins, but they know that their second back's going to have to play, and they don't have faith in Mike Davis. But I don't know that. I'm just, everything about it is kind of icky and leaves me a bit apprehensive. That's all I can say. That's all I can say about the whole thing. This to me is not good news. This is not exciting. This is icky. As my kids like to say about anything. Oh, it's icky. What does that even mean? I don't like this. This is not the move you make to fortify a team. This is the move you make because you have to. So we'll get more. We'll flush this out more over the course of the next 24 hours when we see exactly what the roster moves are, when we find out, there are people that are wondering if this means that J.K. Dobbins is going to start the season on IR. That, to me, is the exact opposite of where you thought you wanted to be. That would be dreadful news if that were the case. Again, if it's just about, hey, we want to have J.K. Dobbins have a lighter workload for the first couple of weeks as he works his way back in, okay, still not ideal, but not disastrous necessarily. And we just don't like the idea of Mike Davis being the guy that primarily gets all the touches. We think there's a limit to what Mike Davis has to offer. It's pretty late in the game to be dealing with that, but, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
You don't feel great about Tyler Beatty or Batty?
I like Tyler Beatty, but no, did I see... Yeah. I have no idea to know whether or not Tyler Beatty's ready to play in the NFL in week 1 of his rookie season. We just have no way of knowing that. He's a talented guy, and I hope... I think if this costs him a roster spot, then to me it's a massive mistake. Tyler Beatty shouldn't be the guy that goes in this process. Justice Hill, man, I want to like Justice Hill, and I really thought that he was a talent coming out of college and that there was something there, but we're a couple years in and we just haven't seen anything. So if this costs Justice Hill a roster spot, life will go on. I still am not going to be excited about it. There's nothing exciting about Kenyon Drake in 2022. I'm sorry. It's over. That it's gone.
What if he turns into Justin Forsett and then
Justin Forsett was a fine player, was not. He was the guy. He was a guy that had to be the guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was not. I want young and dynamic. I don't want Kenyon Drake. I don't really want Mike Davis. The problem is, your young and dynamic backs are the guys that are hurt. So you're kind of left with what you're left with. Look, I don't want to talk anymore about Kenyon Drake. At some point in the next 24 hours, we will get definitive word. We'll get an initial. We'll get an initial 53-man roster today, and then in the days that follow that, we'll get the real 53-man roster, which is after the IR moves have happened. Who then fills out those roster spots? And the other question is, do the Ravens look externally for other areas of help? Do the Ravens look externally for another outside linebacker, for example? Because they are. I wrote about it at PressBoxOnline.com yesterday. The pass rush thing is concerning. There's no way of getting around it. With Tyus out for at least the first 4 weeks of the season, and David Ajabo out until who knows when, the pass rush thing is a real concern. There's Odafe Owe and Justin Houston. I mean, they are thin at outside linebacker and edge rush. So that will be another place. It'll be interesting to see if they pick up something off the scrap heap. Again, not somebody that's likely to be an answer. Jason Pierre-Paul came in for a visit, and they were like, yeah, we good. Thanks for stopping by. Which either tells you something about Jason Pierre-Paul, or was Jason Pierre-Paul saying, dude, I'm not doing training camp. And you can call me if you want to call me at Labor Day. Like, I'll come in, let you look at me, see where I am health-wise. But if you think I'm running around in the heat for a month and a half, forget it. Like, I'm way too old for that. Which some players do, and I frankly respect that. Like, you get to a place in your life where you're like, I don't have to do this. I ain't gonna do it. All good. There's a lot of things I wish I didn't have to do in my career. There's some things that I'm prepared to maybe cut back. I have thought for a long time about making this a 4-day-a-week show. Like, I have thought for years about, you know what? We're not on the radio. We don't have an obligation. We can make this a 4-day-a-week show. I'm working weekend days. What the hell am I doing here? And that might be foreshadowing. I'm not anytime soon, but it might be that at some point this does become a 4-day-a-week show. I don't blame Jason Pierre-Paul at all. Like, not even a little bit. For saying, yeah, I'm going to take, if that's what happened. But it's one of the two. I don't know which one it is. It will be interesting to see if the Ravens look to pluck someone. I know O.J. Howard's name is coming out there, and the Ravens, of course, without Charlie Kolar.
Josh Gordon was cut by the Chiefs.
Stop that. That's not, that is the height of I've heard of this guy. There has been nothing. There has been no meat on the Josh Gordon bone in 8 years at this point? My God, how long has it been? It's not really been 8. It's been 5 or 6. But it's been long enough that it's not a conversation that we should ever be having. Like, stop. God. I know it's bad. I know it's thin at wide receiver. You know how thin it is at wide receiver, that I'm more excited about DeMarcus Robinson than I would be about Josh Gordon. That's where we are. All right, now, as far as Lamar Jackson stuff is concerned, again, this is the role that I play. Settle the F down. I think we've gotten our answer. The Jay Glazer thing, for as loose as it was in the wording, really did give us the cleanest answer that you could possibly have imagined. Lamar wants a fully guaranteed deal. Deshaun Watson got one. He wants it too. Kyler Murray can do whatever Kyler Murray wants to do. Lamar wants a fully guaranteed deal. Deshaun Watson set the market. Lamar Jackson, who has accomplished far more than either Deshaun Watson or Kyler Murray in the NFL, says, I'm not taking a step back. That's where the market is. That's what I'm getting. That would seem to be buoyed by one of the interactions he had on social media yesterday. Of course, the Dolphins thing, you can't get me to care about that. You just can't get me to care. The dude hit like on something on Twitter. Y'all want to read into it however you want to read into it, fine. Do whatever you want to do. I don't care. You can't get... I understand it's 2022. I understand that Twitter is real life for most people. I understand all of those things. To get me to care about Lamar Jackson clicking like on something on Twitter, you know how many things I've accidentally liked on Twitter? And I'm not saying that's what Lamar did. I have no idea what happened. That's not a thing to me. What someone likes on Twitter is not something that I'm willing to judge or consider as news or give any value to whatsoever. Won't do it. Now, I do think that you can read into the interaction he had. I do think that you don't love Lamar is something you can read into because it spoke to this idea that he's looking for a guaranteed contract. If you didn't see it, sorry, don't know what just happened there. If you didn't see it, so I don't know who any of these people. These are just random people. This exchange starts. So Lamar Jackson is a league MVP, and he still hasn't broken the bank. Ravens, you're on the hot seat. Give that man the $250 million guaranteed before you write a check your ass can't cash. To which someone else, again, that first person was Brazy Ho. So this is where we are, 2022. William responds, he want more. They already offered that. To where Lamar just decides to jump in himself. No, they didn't. So you can already read into that. Then the follow-up from Bumpers Elite. Once upon. Anyway, as much as I love Lamar, a fully guaranteed deal is just bad business. Just because a horrible franchise, the Cleveland Browns, did horrible business giving Watson that contract doesn't mean other teams should follow. Honestly, I'm hoping Lamar gets a 10-year, $500 million deal, to which Lamar again jumps back in and says, you don't love Lamar. Which is a direct statement to the idea that if you don't think Lamar should get a fully guaranteed contract, then you don't love Lamar. I think this gives us as clear a picture as we've ever seen before about where these two parties find themselves. Lamar pretty specifically appears to want a fully guaranteed contract. The Ravens, like all other teams, have seen how pissed off the entire NFL was that the Browns did what they did with Deshaun Watson. The Ravens don't want to follow suit. I don't know internally if they think it's that big of a deal, the idea that they would give Lamar a fully guaranteed contract. But they don't want to become pariahs around the NFL the way the Browns have been for what they did with Deshaun Watson. Classic stalemate. Who budges? These are the questions that I was asking yesterday with our friend Joel Corey from CBS, former NFL agent. At some point, if this is what Lamar is going to do, then why wouldn't Russell Wilson ask for the same thing? Why would other quarterbacks simply say, no, we don't want that? Well, Kyler Murray already did. But why? I thought Joel Corey's point yesterday about the quarterbacks fighting for players at other positions is really interesting. The quarterbacks have the leverage. I've talked about that ad nauseum. The quarterbacks have all of the leverage. The players at other positions don't necessarily have the leverage. We've seen some who have gotten beaucoup deals, but they can't ask for fully guaranteed contracts. And with fully guaranteed contracts being so taboo, how do you get there? Well, you ask the guys that have the leverage to be the ones to go to bat for you, to do the work. You go put up the fight. You go do this on behalf of all of us. If you don't get a fully guaranteed deal, we'll never be able to get a fully guaranteed deal because you have all of the leverage. And we've seen the Packers just traded Devontae Adams. The Chiefs traded Tyreek Hill. We have seen teams say, we can live. Now, I disagree, but they've made the decision. We can live without the superstars at other positions. We can't live without the quarterback. So you go to the quarterbacks and you say, guys, we need you. Fight for us. scratch, claw, demand fully guaranteed. Because once that becomes standard at the quarterback position, then some of us can start asking for it too. If within the next 3 years, every quarterback deal that's handed out ends up being fully guaranteed, then at some point you'll see an Aaron Donald. At some point you'll see, by the way, I still cannot effing believe that the NFL is just, this is going to sound gross, but Aaron Donald's best friend is Matt Araiza. Because somehow we've just forgotten about what Aaron Donald did on that practice field because we found something else to be outraged about, and we're just letting it go that Aaron Donald's going to go without punishment, which is insanity. Sorry, I got sidetracked there by bringing up the name Aaron Donald. If this becomes standard amongst quarterbacks, then these other great players can start asking for it. And the more of them that get it, the more opportunities that middling players have. It's a process, but they're in for the fight. And it appears as though Lamar Jackson's in for the fight. Is there risk involved? Of course there's risk involved. You could suffer a catastrophic injury. It's unlikely. And as we've all pointed out, even Dak Prescott, after suffering a significant injury, was able to turn around and get his Boku deal. The Alex Smith type of injury is extraordinarily rare. The truly career-altering, career-ending, career-defining type of injury is rare. Is it possible? Yes, of course it is. And again, I've wondered aloud whether or not the uniqueness of this situation might have something to do with the fact that Lamar didn't even play a snap during the course of the preseason. Can't tell you that with any amount of definition. But it's interesting that not even a series for Lamar coming off an injury during the course of the preseason. Not even one cameo appearance. And I can't help but wonder if that's because of the uniqueness of his situation. I'm willing to take risks in a real game, but I ain't taking any risks at all in this.
I don't see that as that doesn't alarm me much. I mean, like look at what happened with the Steelers on Sunday. They T.J. Watt,
I don't care.
and Deontay Johnson.
I don't care.
I just don't. I think it's smart to not play any of your starters at all.
But they played starters.
Yeah,
I mean, like that's the thing. It's not that they didn't play starters. They didn't.
Lamar
one
Jackson
guy didn't play.
Is a different level.
I understand that. You keep all of the other starting quarterbacks around the NFL played.
Is that smart though?
You're having two different discussions, okay. Griffin. You're having two different conversations. I'm not telling you that I think it's a bad idea. I'm saying I think it's direct. Lamar's never gone an entire preseason without playing before. That's never happened.
2020.
Nobody played.
There you
go. That doesn't. I don't know what you're doing right now. I have no idea what this bid is. That's never occurred before. This year, he didn't play even a series. And I get it, the Ravens on the whole were more gun-shy based on the fact that J.K. Dobbins got hurt in a preseason game a year ago. But it's not like they didn't play anyone. Lamar uniquely didn't play at all. And not saying I blame him, not saying I think it's a terrible idea. I just can't help but notice it. It's interesting, given the uniqueness of his situation. Lamar wants a fully guaranteed deal. That appears to be quite apparent. The Ravens don't want to give him a fully guaranteed deal. What do you do with that? To me, at some point, you're forced to acquiesce. At some point, you're forced to say, dude, if it's this or not having a quarterback, we need to have a quarterback. Got to have one. But you got to be prepared. The funny part about the fully guaranteed thing being such a hang-up is that you're not teams are giving out mostly guaranteed deals. This is just closing the gap. It's really the words fully guaranteed. And again, no one's cutting their quarterback. So the idea that it's so heinous that the Ravens would give a fully guaranteed deal versus the Cardinals who gave a mostly guaranteed deal, and Kyler Murray's going to see all of that money, it's essentially fully guaranteed because he's the quarterback. What are we doing here? Why are we so worked up about it? Well, for the owners, it's because they see the slope. They see the same thing that we're talking about. They see, well, if the quarterbacks get fully guaranteed deals, the other players are going to ask for them. So we have to put up the fight. This is wildly fascinating. I mean, it sucks. It's no fun for Ravens fans who just want to see their quarterback sign long-term and don't want to have to deal with this drama every day. It's not fun, but from an outside perspective, it is a fascinating moment within the history of football because there are players drawing a line in the sand and there are owners drawing a line in the sand. Who budges? Inevitably, there's going to be another quarterback desperate team. And when they have the opportunity to, if what it takes is what the Browns did, and they realize they're either utterly irrelevant or they have to give out a fully guaranteed deal, another one's going to do it. The Browns won't be the last. What should the Ravens do? It's easy for me to say. I understand their complication. I understand. They're in the midst of a bigger fight, a fight that's not really about them or about Lamar Jackson. They're in the midst of a fight that is really revisiting a CBA while it's going on. And I don't have the answers any longer. I still assume that Lamar Jackson's going to end up being a Raven long term, but I don't know where this washes out. I genuinely don't. If Lamar somehow gets more guaranteed money than the last guy did, is that enough for him to go back and say, well, guys, I fought for as much as I possibly could? I don't know. It's unbelievably compelling. All right, when we come back in, Jim Bowden, former MLB GM, now with CBS and Sirius XM and The Athletic. We'll talk some Orioles with him. That's next. It is a Tuesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Hey Birdland, arrive early at the Yard on Saturday, September 3rd, when the first 15,000 fans 15 and over will receive the first ever Orioles soccer jersey presented by Pepsi. Don't miss out on this brand new crossover kit before the Orioles clash with the Oakland A's at 7:05 at the ballpark that forever changed baseball. What better way to celebrate Labor Day weekend than with your favorite home team on a Saturday night? Great seating options are available, and tickets start as low as $15 at Orioles.com/tickets.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Come experience Maryland's #1 sportsbook this NFL season at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, the ultimate place for any sports enthusiast. Take advantage of our 24/7 kiosks, massive video screens, and watch all the action from the best seat in the house. With more money paid out than anyone around, make every moment more at the new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
The 2022 baseball season is in full swing, and the future is brighter than ever for your Baltimore Orioles. I'm Paul Valley.
And I'm Zach Goodman.
And together we bring you the Bat Around every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon with everything you need to know about the Orioles and baseball as a whole. From veterans like Cedric Mullins, Austin Hayes, and Ryan Mountcastle,
to young stars like Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rodriguez, and DL Hall.
We've got you covered for every game, every pitch,
and every debut.
You can watch us at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline and Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, or you can listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. So join us live on the Bat Around every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon right here at PressBox Sports.
Summer is in full swing, and so is the summer seasonal menu at Glory Days Grill. Start with the opener, flash fried pork belly with their popular Korean No. 2 sauce. And try their South Carolina barbecue chicken, or backed by popular demand, the lobster roll with grilled corn. Also try the irresistible crab and lobster fries, or the very berry salad with chicken. And for dessert, the Cracker Jack sundae with a waffle, ice cream, and Cracker Jacks. This menu will be gone. Find Find out more and get your order in at glorydaysgrill.com. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Bo Smolka profiles Ravens tight end Mark Andrews' path to NFL stardom, from his late decision to play the sport full-time through having to overcome type 1 diabetes and more. Also, inside, we introduce you to football players at Maryland, Navy, Towson, and Morgan State. And we give you everything you need to know for betting football this season. Press Box is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores. And you can always find the entire edition, as well as the best daily coverage of the Demos, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
It's statistically proven that the show sounds better if you're not wearing pants. Like me. Right now. You're listening to Glenn Clark Radio.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue on a Tuesday edition of the program. Our next guest, of course, former MLB GM. Now you hear him on Sirius XM. You read him at The Athletic. You see him on CBS. He is Mr. Jim Bowden. He's with us now here on GCR. Jim, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's good to chat with you as always. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Of course, Glenn. Always great to be on your show.
So I get the sense, as I was looking at your your new top 50 prospects, the initial reaction, of course, everybody in Baltimore, you know how every fan base is. We're very much tell me I'm pretty, and we get very offended that our guy isn't the top guy on the list. It's just the way that it works. You deal with this with everyone all over the country. I get the sense that Gunnar being a little bit lower on your list than others isn't necessarily about you not liking Gunnar as much as you just really like some other prospects that are higher than him.
Well, let me ask you a question. Who do you like better, Judge or Ohtani?
Boy, I guess Ohtani, but I mean
Acuna or Tatis?
Well, right now Acuna, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So now you just irritated Yankee fans and Padres.
Right. 100%. Yes, I get it. I get it.
If you're in the top five, look, it doesn't matter how anyone wants to rank the top five. They're all future stars, and they're all exciting players. I've got Gunnar 5. I can only go on what I've seen, right? Now I got an opportunity to see all of the guys on my top 5 in person. I love all 5. I think I'm going to be covering all 5 in all-star games for years to come. That's how great these players are. So if you're in the top 5, you're special. Now, I've said this many times with Gunnar Henderson. I think he's going to win a batting title someday. I said this about Gunnar Henderson. I think you're going to see 50 doubles and 25 home runs.
Jeez.
I've said this about Gunnar Henderson. He can stay at shortstop like Corey Seager, or he can be elite at third base. So I don't know what else you want me to say. I mean, I love the player, period. Now, Ohtani, Judge, yeah, I'd probably take Ohtani over Judge, but this year I'll take Judge over Ohtani.
He's got 50 home runs. It's okay.
Right. Yeah, only 7th player in baseball history. I think he's going to win the MVP, but I got to tell you, whether it's Judge or Ohtani, I'll take either one. I'll take them both. Thank you very much. So that's kind of how I view it. I wasn't insulting Henderson or the Orioles. I love them, but watching them all next to each other, those top 5 guys, that's how I rank them.
Are you confused by why he's not here yet, Jim?
A little bit. You know, I know Ramon Urias has been important and played well, and I understand when you're in a pennant race like this, you don't want to disrupt. The reason I'm a little surprised is I think Henderson's a huge upgrade. The reason I'm surprised is I believe, based on my experience, the Orioles have a better chance of making the playoffs with Gunnar Henderson right now in the big leagues than him in the minor leagues. So I would have brought him up. I think he's major league ready. I don't think there's anything else you need to watch or see down there. I think he can impact the Orioles today. And, you know, when you have a guy like Henderson, you know, he may win you 2 games the rest of the way, and that may be the difference whether you get in or you don't get in. So I don't believe that Mike Elias is holding him back for service time. It just doesn't make any sense when you're in a pennant race like this. There must be something that we don't know behind the scenes, but I can tell you from what I've seen, he's major league ready.
Jim, that's the part that does still, I think, concern some of us around here, that the Orioles still are the team that's never done the Julio Rodriguez thing, right? Like, they're the team that's never aggressively gone through and said, we're going to make sure our guy stays here for a bit longer than the service time would allow. And that's, I feel like Orioles fans, and again, maybe this is not fair to Mike Elias or to you know, John Angelos, because it's a remnant of leadership of the past, but I still feel like there's concern here about, are you going to be the team that steps up and get something done with Adley Rutschman, with the Gunnar Henderson, or are you going to constantly look to manipulate service time, and then we'll just watch these players leave whenever they have the opportunity to?
Look, I think your thought there is fair, but I think that Mike Elias hasn't had that chance. I don't think the Adley Rutschman or Gunnar Henderson opportunity to do those kind of deals, I think the time is coming. I don't think it's been, right? I mean, Adley Rutschman, like Julio Rodriguez, is a rookie right now. So I think that this offseason it would be great if they could tie up Rutschman to a long-term deal if he's willing to do it. Agents have a lot to do with it as well. And the player has a lot to do with it. There's not a lot of players that want to give up their free agent rights. I mean, Julio Rodriguez, it's up to the Mariners now, but he may never see free agency.
Sure.
He may be Seattle for the rest of his life, and he doesn't have a choice anymore. He gave that up. I would have too for the contract he got.
Right.
But I would think the Orioles will try to sign Rutschman long term, and I think they'll try to do Gunnar Henderson as well. I don't even need to see Gunnar Henderson in the big leagues before I would try to tie him up. The Atlanta Braves have done it the best.
It's unbelievable.
Like I don't look at Seattle and think, oh, you got a great bargain, or I don't look at San Diego with Tatis and say, oh, you got a great bargain. I'm glad you tied him up, and I'm glad you made the commitment. But it's not the kind of bargain that Alex Anthopoulos got with Ronald Acuna Jr. Not the kind of bargain he got with Michael Harris. Not the kind of bargain he got with Ozzie Albies. Like, he's getting those guys signed long term and saving so much money, and putting his club in position to always having money to go get pieces. But I don't think it's fair to judge Mike Elias yet, because that window hasn't. That window's just starting for him. And that's kind of how I view it. I know they're going to be aggressive in free agency and trades in the offseason, and I think signing Rutschman to a long-term deal will probably be something that's on his table if Adley has interest in doing it.
I think there's nothing more significant they could do for the fan base. And I get it, like, winning is more important than winning over the fan base. Like, I understand that, but I don't think there's anything that they could do that would electrify and ignite the fan base here in Baltimore more than giving a commitment to a young star and saying, this is who we are now as a franchise. This is how committed we are. And, I guess there's some, Jim, I'll pose it to you. Somebody would say, hey, maybe there's a little bit more risk doing that with a catcher than there is with an outfielder or someone who plays at a different position. Would you have any apprehension at all about giving big money to Adley Rutschman based on the position that he plays?
Oh, none whatsoever, because worst case scenario, he can play first base.
Right.
I mean, I would pay him based on the bat, let alone catcher. I mean, he's going to be. If you took a poll of 30 GMs right now and said you could have any catcher in baseball, who do you want? It'll be 30-0, Adley Rutschman.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, today, not next year, not 2 years from now. Right now, today, if you polled 30 GMs, every single one would say Adley Rutschman. So that's what he is, and his bat is just as important as his catching. He is going to hit. He's going to hit for power. He's going to hit great pitching. He's going to be a guy in the moment. This is the face of the franchise. It's Cal Ripken, now it's Adley Rutschman. That's it.
It's been an unbelievable joy watching it, man. Like, we're literally watching a superstar in front of our eyes. It's been incredible. Jim Bowden is with us here on GCR. Jim, I want to sort of touch on – I'll tie it all together because I'm going to go back to your list. Grayson Rodriguez is number 6 on your top 50 prospects list. We're going to see him make a rehab start this week in Aberdeen and see where it goes from there. But obviously you're pointing towards next season and high expectations for Grayson Rodriguez in the Orioles rotation. The question becomes, given what this rotation has done this year, as you allude to, the Orioles say they're spending money. We've always assumed that would be like, you're going to go out and sign a pitcher because we looked at this nondescript group of pitchers this season and we said you desperately need pitching. But that nondescript group has delivered this season, and it's been the offense that's been the problem and has left ourselves a bit concerned about whether they can hold on to this thing and stay in this to get into the postseason. Do you maybe think at all about, hey, Grayson Rodriguez, John Means, D.L. Hall, Kyle Bradish, Dean Kramer, you've got a rotation for Nick Jordan-Lyles, you've got a rotation there. Maybe the money is better spent adding a bat or two into this thing in the offseason.
Well, you want to keep adding in all areas. Just remember, you never get enough pitching. You never get enough. And every pitcher that's doing well this year, they're not all going to be able to live up to that next year. Yes, you got pitching coming. There's no doubt. And what the pitching staff has done this year for Baltimore is amazing, and the bullpen has been incredible. Credit Mike Elias. for a tremendous job he did in building that bullpen besides the rotation and the Dean Kramers and those kind of guys. But, you never get enough, and if you have an opportunity to go out and get a top of the rotation starter, at DeGrom or Verlander, if you have a chance to get one of those top guys, it just makes everybody else better. And sometimes having that veteran leader helps your younger pitchers maintain consistency and develop. That's why Tampa Bay each year will go out and try to sign a Corey Kluber. Not because they need Corey Kluber, because they have enough young pitching, but because of what Kluber brings into the clubhouse, what he brings in terms of work ethic and what he brings in terms of experience and wisdom. So, don't ever get too caught up in having success from a pitching staff perspective, because you never get enough.
Sure.
Los Angeles Dodgers have Walker Buehler on the injured list. They've got Tony Gonsolin on the injured list, and they're yawning right now. Oh, okay. Oh, Kershaw's on the IL too. Okay.
Yeah,
no
we'll get through
problem.
with the
Bring up the next guy.
Right.
But you need the next guy. In this day and age, you better have 12 starting pitcher depth, because you're going to go through the first 7 or 8 quick. It's just the way it works in baseball. So keep adding pitching. Yeah, you need another bat, but remember, Gunnar Henderson's going to be one of those bats. Then don't forget that. I mean, you're not going to be able to go out there and trade or sign for a better hitter than Gunnar Henderson. I mean, that's going to be a guy that's going to really help this offense a year from now. And then, you'll go find a bat somewhere. You'll get another bat there. So you add a couple pieces this offseason, a couple pieces next offseason. Who knows? There might be a White House trip 3 years from now.
Boy, we like the sounds of that, Jim. So let's go to the bat comment. By the way, the guy, I don't – how perfect of a fit do you think Carlos Rodon would be? And am I getting my hopes up too much, because the reality is Carlos Rodon is now moving into the $200 million plus territory as far as pitchers are concerned?
I love Carlos Rodon. As long as that shoulder holds up, I mean, he's a one. He's a difference maker.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. He would definitely be. I'll be surprised if he's not a top target of Mike Elias.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy to me. All right, Jorge Mateo. Should they be making plans around Mateo being the shortstop moving forward, considering everything he does defensively, what he brings to the table as a base runner, or is there still too much concern about a guy who's got a sub-300 on-base percentage?
I mean, I'm concerned about the hit tool a little bit, but he wins you games in so many other ways. You can win with him as long as you have enough offense around him. I mean, you can have him hit 8th or 9th in the lineup as long as you got enough bangers around him and can score enough runs. I mean, he's winning games with his defense. When I had Mike Elias on my radio show a couple of weeks ago, he talked about how Mateo was a game changer for that pitching staff defensively. He can lead the league in stolen bases. He brings that element. And the question becomes, another year, does he get better at the plate? I mean, he should, right? I mean, nobody thought Ozzie Smith was going to hit, and he ended up in the Hall of Fame. So, he's a very toolsy guy. The more at-bats he gets and the more he adjusts, the better shot. So I think he definitely at least has to be in the mix. The whole thing is, can you get better, right?
Right.
I mean, if Gunnar Henderson comes up, he's better than Urias. If Carlos Correa is a free agent and opts out and he calls Mike Elias and says, I want to come to you to Baltimore, then okay, he's at shortstop. Mateo can back him up. We're always trying to get better. We're always trying to become a world champion. To become a world champion, you got to keep getting better at every position you possibly can until you have a world championship team.
It's so funny you bring that up, Jim, because the conversation we've been having this week has been in relation to Mountcastle and Hayes, who are guys we like. And Hayes had a brilliant first 3 months of the season, and Mountcastle, of course, hit 30 home runs a year ago. But there's only so many places where you can look to improve, because you only have 9 spots. 8, I guess, if they're not going to have a real DH because they want to make sure that Adley can get enough DH at bats. Do you have to even consider those spots as places where you could improve?
I think you always have to stay open-minded. I mean, that's kind of how I view it, right? I mean, you never know who's going to become available, and then you've got to see if it works. I mean, look, you can win with Mountcastle and Hayes, but what if you had an opportunity to get a better player? You're going to be open to that. That's just the way the game works.
I'm in agreement. You mentioned Correa. Is he? I just surely looking at his numbers, admitting I don't watch him night in and night out. I was a guy who was in love with the idea of Carlos Correa a year ago, but now this is a couple years of his numbers, not being overwhelming. Is Carlos Correa definitely a guy who's worth the mega contract that you would have to give him?
No, he's not. I would rather spend the money on Trey Turner.
Okay. I think I'm in agreement with that, by the way. I think I've come around on that.
Yeah.
That I get the relationship.
I'd rather have Trey Turner. Yeah, because Trey Turner has the hit tool, which means the hit tool makes you age. If the speed tool is your first tool, you don't age well. Ask Carl Crawford, ask Michael Bourne. But if you have the hit tool like Turner has, then you age. And then if you have the speed like he has, even if he slows down, he's still going to be a star. And he's got the power. And he's been on one world championship team, and who knows, he may be on another world championship team this year. And the fact that Trey Turner, you could play short, second, center, wherever you needed to put him, depending on the circumstances. I like Turner a lot for the Orioles lineup. I like that element that he brings, the full gamut that he brings to the table. I think he'd be a great fit.
Before I let you
go get Trey Turner and Rodon and do nothing else.
My God. And then let's start planning for a parade. 100%. Mike, from your lips to God's ears, Jim Bowden, I would walk to San Diego for the winter meetings if that's what the Orioles were going to be doing this offseason, was adding Rodon and Trey Turner.
Now the problem is that was on audio, so I'm going to get a tape of that. So now if they get Rodon and Trey Turner,
Jim,
we're going to get a drone to follow you walking from Baltimore to San
I swear to God, we will find a way to make it a charity thing. I'm not even – if the Baltimore Orioles – Griffin, I swear to God, write this anywhere. If the Baltimore Orioles sign Trey Turner and Carlos Rodon this offseason, we will find a way to organize a charity event while I will walk to San Diego. We will take a month off the show. We will make a bit out of it. I will do that. That's a promise that I will make. Last one for you. Are you concerned at all about DL Hall? Are you at all concerned he's not the top of the rotation type of starter that we have hoped for a long time that he would be in Baltimore?
Let's see. I've never viewed him as that. I liked him as like a Josh Hader reliever. Like I looked at DL Hall as a guy that I wanted to put in the back end of the bullpen and just throw gas. But I said the same thing about Chris Sale, and I was wrong, right? Sale became one of the best starters in the game. When I first saw Sale coming up, I wanted him in the back end like Hader, right? There's no doubt Hall's going to be an elite pitcher. I don't know if he's going to live up to, I guess, your expectations as a starter or not. He certainly has the stuff. I wouldn't go by his cameo in the big leagues this year. I don't think that's fair to judge someone that little bit. I mean, the stuff plays. It's real. And he's going to get better as he figures out commanding all of the pitches, and how to sequence is a lot different at the big league level than the minor league level. But worst comes to worst, he's got a chance to be impact at the back end of a bullpen. Yeah. And nowadays, as you guys have learned this year, that's really important.
I mean, my God, what Felix Batiste is doing is just insane. Jim Bowden.
He's incredible. He's incredible. And his reach. How about his reach? Like he practically, when he delivers the ball, is practically shaking hands with Rutschman. Right. But 98 looks like 120 to these hitters.
I also love that at this point, I get it, when you're dealing with having a B bullpen and you only have a certain number of guys that you trust, that Brandon Hyde just got to the point where it's the start of the 8th inning and there's 2 runners on base. Let's just go ahead. Like the confidence that he has in this dude is insane and well-deserved. At Jim Bowden GM on Twitter is how you follow him. Obviously, SiriusXM, obviously The Athletic, obviously. What else can I plug for you, sir?
CBS Sports HQ. Every morning, 8:12 a.m. Yeah, check me out.
Brother, always appreciate you. And it's a promise about San Diego.
Right,
I'll revisit it. Thank you for taking the time.
Take care. Appreciate that. See you.
Jim Bowden joining us here on GCR. A lot of stuff in there. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if they signed Rodon and Trey Turner? Could you imagine? I get it doesn't guarantee anything. The Padres have been throwing money and throwing money and throwing money and throwing money, and it hasn't solved a thing for them. I understand that just spending money alone does not win you a World Series. I get it. But, Jesus, what it would do. The life that we would feel in this city. Oh. I would do it, too. I'm not even kidding. We'd have to work on it. We'd have to plan it. You'd have to do a lot of work with it, but I'm all for it.
Be like a Forrest Gump, just caravan of people.
My buddy Justin Burke does like his bike ride around Maryland every year. I would maybe talk with him about how to do this. How far could I walk on one? How long really would it take me to walk?
Yeah,
I would do it. Oh, my wife would be so mad, but I would do it.
Well, you have to now. I mean,
Plus, I would end up in San Diego. I mean, come on.
you just wouldn't turn around.
Right. Like, hey, you know what? This seems like a great place to do a show from. Couple of things in there. Is there a way that I can get around it? Could I put could we put a treadmill on the back of a truck and have a truck drive me to San Diego so that technically I was walking? Is there a way? Just got to look into things like this. Got to look into, is there like a private plane where I can get up and walk on the plane? We just got to figure out a way that we could go about doing this. A couple things in there just that I'll react to, and then I want to get back to the Lamar topic. Today's show also brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Week 1, college football this week. The games are bonkers. Starting Thursday night, Pitt, West Virginia is very good. And then Saturday, just a loaded schedule. Ohio State, Notre Dame.
Halftime show of that game. Jack Harlow performing in the halftime show of that game.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Thank you. That's very relevant. I appreciate it. Is Fergie coming with him again?
Well, I don't know.
What is Young Gravy? The internet is
like
very convinced that I'm supposed to know what Young Gravy is.
He's kind of like a meme-ish rapper.
He's
kinda,
nothing, is what he is.
He's kind of funny.
Yeah, I'm sure. Young Gravy, get the F out of here. I also saw the picture. I sent out a tweet last night that I thought maybe get a little bit more. I saw the picture of Daniel Radcliffe dressed as Weird Al.
Oh, that looks really good.
It does not. It does not. You have to care desperately about Weird Al in order to, and I don't. I just don't care desperately about it. I don't think he's that compelling.
I didn't know the Roku channel made movies.
I didn't know that either. Also, is that what Daniel Radcliffe is doing with his life now? Like, that's where it's...
He's doing whatever he wants.
A lot of people have pointed that out. Like,
yeah.
He got so much money from Harry Potter that he's just like, I don't care. I'll do whatever projects I feel like doing. But I said, I'm not sure what this is, but I'm just going to assume it's Young Gravy. Like, that didn't get me all that much. Like, got a little bit. Anyway, the moral of the story being, loaded week 1, college football season. Right. The place to be is the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. The bet pads are now available. It's the great food at Sports and Social. It's the 100-foot media wall. It's all of it. Get your bets in. Make some money. Ohio State 17.5 against Notre Dame, and frankly, I'm not sure that's enough. But, you know, the Ohio State's disappointed in big games before, too. So maybe there's an opportunity there to slide in and get on the Marcus Freeman train. I do love Utah. I think that number's not nearly big enough against Florida. We'll talk about more of this as the week goes on, but so many great games to bet on this weekend in the FanDuel Sportsbook, Live Casino and Hotel. Reserve your spot right now. Events at sportssocialmd.com. So the things that jump out at me from Jim Bowden. 1, I am... This is so funny that we're having the Adley Rutschman conversation at the same time as Lamar conversation. There, to me, is no debate when it comes to Adley Rutschman. The Orioles need to prioritize this immediately. The absolute best thing they can do as a franchise is put their flag in the ground, and he is him, as the kids like to say, as I'm sure Young Gravy likes to say. He is him. Get it done. Make a loud statement to your fan base, to baseball in general, to guys that might be, to Carlos Rodon, to Trey Turner, to guys that might consider the Orioles. This is who we are. We have star power. We are doing the damn thing. Get it done. Jim Bowden's point, it doesn't have to happen today. Just because Julio Rodriguez did doesn't mean it has to happen today. But get it done. Make it the first priority for the offseason. Loud statement, this is what the Orioles are. Get it done. Secondarily, I'm in a funny place where I still agree that they need to sign a pitcher, and of course I'm in love with Rodon. But in an odd way, I'm coming around to the idea that maybe I'm willing to trust them a little bit. I think they have to sign something. Like someone at all. A Jordan Lyles plus. But I'm maybe a bit more pressed about bats. I might be a bit more pressed about adding, yes, Gunnar Henderson will add something. Colton Cowser's now going up AAA. At some point next year, you'll probably see Colton Cowser in the bigs. I don't think it'll be a priority for them. I think the Orioles will say, go have yourself a season at AAA, and if you're producing there, you'll graduate the bigs. But I'm pressed about a bopper. I'm pressed about one dynamic power bat, probably a left-hander.
Right. I was going to say, like, how much do you think the new wall is going to influence that?
It's definitely going to influence it. There's no way around it.
Probably. Like, are we going to turn to the Yankees where we have to get lefties or switch hitters? And
maybe. I mean, maybe. I can't promise you that you're not. Look, the idea that nobody can hit the home runs to left field is incorrect. Like, obviously, there have been plenty of home runs to left field this season. But are there going to be right-handed power hitters that say, yeah, it's not the place I want to be? Definitely. Can money overcome that? Yes. But do you run the risk of there being a dynamic right-handed power hitter that becomes a dynamic right-handed fly-out hitter in Baltimore? You do. You know, you do. You run that risk. But I am impressed about that a little bit more. I feel like some of you guys are still kind of missing the significance of what we're talking about with Lamar. I feel like we're still caught up in the this is yes or no, black and white, the Ravens making a statement about Lamar Jackson. And while that is maybe a part of this conversation, I think we're missing, this is a seminal moment in football, potentially. The Deshaun Watson thing was a seminal moment in football, right? But if it's only Deshaun Watson, then it dies. Much in the way that when it was only Kirk Cousins, it died. If it's followed up by another, it's a trend now. And it's where football goes. And it's the slope, which I'm not opposed to. I want to make this abundantly clear. This ain't my money. I don't have a problem with players getting fully guaranteed contracts, and I certainly think that NFL players have looked around and said, wow, Chris Davis is making an awful lot of money to not play baseball. Well, that's weird. We kind of like that option. Can we get that? Because we're in the most popular sport in America. We drive the American economy. So why are we putting our bodies on the line in a far more physical sport without getting that same protection? This is a seminal moment that we're talking about. And maybe Lamar's not doing it for those reasons. Maybe Lamar does not care at all about any other player. Maybe this is just about him. But what happens if the Ravens go fully guaranteed changes the course of football. I don't like being hyperbolic. I don't like just saying things for the sake of saying them. That's not what's happening here. We need to pay attention to what's going on. And we can kill the Ravens over and say, well, just get it done, just get it done, just get it done. Would you rather be a team that has no quarterback? I get it. I don't want that at all. But I understand in the situation they're in why they're balking. And it really has nothing to do with Lamar Jackson. It's because they're fighting on behalf of the entire league. The pressure that they feel has to be overwhelming. This is larger than life. I mean, we are truly talking about a moment within the history of a sport. In this city, all it is, hey, we want to feel confident that we would rather our quarterback not be liking pictures of him in a Dolphins uniform on Twitter, which is trivial and nonsensical. It matters not big picture, but we only see with our blinders this very right in front of us thing. We just want to know the quarterback's going to be around. We just want to know what impact it's going to have on the rest of the cap. That's all we really care about. We're thinking very small about what this represents. Now that we know with at least an amount of confidence that Lamar wants, again, he hasn't come out and said directly those words, I want a fully guaranteed deal. But reading between the lines of the Jay Glazer report and now the way he interacted on Twitter yesterday, we've got enough evidence for me to say with an amount of confidence that's what's going on here. Lamar Jackson wants a fully guaranteed deal, which is his right. Whether he's doing it for himself, for generations of players to come behind him, whatever the reason being, it appears clear Lamar Jackson wants a fully guaranteed contract. You can debate whether he needs that or not. We can certainly bring up the points. Quarterbacks don't get cut, but he doesn't respond the way that he did on social media if that wasn't at the center of this. So now what? You get how big this is? Can you comprehend how overwhelming this situation is? The Ravens could choose to say, we're not going to do it. But then if you're just trading him to a team that will, you didn't stop this. You didn't prevent a movement towards fully guaranteed contracts from happening. So if it's just going to happen anyway, why not be the team that does it? It's crazy. It's crazy. I am genuinely left in a place. I've said for a long time, just get this done. Just pay the man. Just get it done. But I am, for the first time, putting myself in the shoes of all parties involved and saying, I don't know what to do. Truly, I don't know what to do. Again, the easiest thing for me to say is, it ain't my money, just pay it. I mean, I guess technically it's my money at some point. They'd presumably raise, the price of what it would cost me to buy a T-shirt for my kids at some point. Like, in some weird way, it is kind of our money because they have to profit off of something. And the value of the NFL media contracts is what drives the prices of your Amazon Prime subscription or your cable bill or whatever it is. So in some small way, it is our money, but not directly. Easy to say, it's not directly my money, just pay it. But what do you do when the entire league is breathing down your neck? And when you realize the moment that we go here, that's the moment, should Kyle Hamilton pan out, you think it was exciting for him to tell an entire room $9 million was a signing bonus while they were playing hoops the other day? Imagine when he comes up for a contract and he says, well, now all the quarterbacks are getting this money. If you want to keep me around, I need guaranteed money too. You are really talking about entering into an era of fully guaranteed contracts in the NFL. And again, I'm not inherently opposed to that for the players, but I get it's a massive sea change for the league. Massive. The Ravens are struggling enough with non-fully guaranteed contracts. We're in a place where if Ronnie Stanley can't be some element of Ronnie Stanley this season, it is very hard to believe that they can win a Super Bowl. And that's not a fully guaranteed contract. Do you get it? Do you understand the stakes? This ain't hyperbole. I'm not getting worked up for nothing. This truly is the future of the NFL that could be coming into picture in one contract dispute. It's amazing. You're watching a historic moment unfold in front of you. It's the significance of it. Again, there are far more important things in the world than whether the NFL has fully guaranteed contracts. I'm not stupid. I'm not obtuse. I get it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm with you. I wish they would sign him as well, and I think it's going to be. I think Lamar's going to go on and have an unbelievable season, much like what we're seeing with Aaron Judge, and he's going to earn the money. So, I don't think you get it. I'll talk about it more in a second. Sean Tucker's calling in. I don't think you get it. I don't, because I keep hearing these words: earn the money.
There's not a debate about whether – it's a debate about whether you ever do it, not about whether he's done enough to earn it. The debate is, should anyone get it? Should Tom Brady get a fully guaranteed contract? Should Aaron Rodgers, should the greatest quarterbacks in football history get fully guaranteed contracts? We're still debating about, we're still saying that we go out and prove it. This is so much bigger than that. So much bigger. We'll continue to discuss it, obviously, because it's going to continue to be overwhelming. But we're going to pause for a second right here because I'm really excited about an opportunity to chat with our next guest. He put up video game numbers last season at Syracuse and is getting ready for a season that gets underway Saturday night against Louisville, where he very much is in the Heisman Trophy conversation. And he is an Owings Mills native. He is a Calvert Hall alum. He is Syracuse running back Sean Tucker, and he's with us now here on GCR. Sean, it's Glenn back in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time for us.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, can you put into words, like, what did you eat last year? What did you – I don't know if you're a superstitious guy. How did it all click that you put up one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen in college football?
I would just say, my work, my preparation coming into the season, the off season, working hard every day, and just preparing for that season and trying to go hard through those games.
Yeah, I mean, it worked, bro. It worked. I assume that after that, you just have to go back and do all of the exact same things in an off season to get ready for this year, right? Because it worked so well.
Yes, I would say that, and just trying to come harder and put more intensity in my work each and every year to try getting better.
Dude,
and try to improve on my ability.
I can only imagine how it could get better from there. Let's go take a step back, right? You're a kid growing up here. You end up at Calvert Hall. Tell me the moment where you realize, like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. Like, I'm going to be able to do this at a high level. I'm going to be able to achieve things. This might be how I make a living for the rest of my life.
I'll say I've always felt like I knew that I could do that and play at a high level and play beyond. But I think one moment in particular, probably my sophomore year, when one of the running backs got hurt in the Wise game, and I had to step in, and then I basically scored a touchdown and took off from there in my high school career.
Yeah, you never look back, man, and look how it's turned out for you. Sean, how did your upbringing here help prepare you for this next step and becoming one of the top players in all of college football?
I'll just say my parents always being on me, and my dad training me since I was 6. Him always being in my ear and just trying to push me and keep me motivated to do what I want to do and try to get to the highest level.
Man, it's worked out all right. It's worked out okay for you. Sean Tucker, Syracuse running back, is with us here on GCR. Sean, when we use those words, Heisman hopeful, when we say that, what I know that you guys have team goals, and I understand that that's what matters, is that you want to win the ACC, you want to compete for national championships, but what does that mean to you to hear that word thrown around with your name?
It's kind of surreal. Growing up and watching college football and NFL and seeing those guys who've won Heisman and been in the race, and just have an opportunity to be mentioned and have that next to my name is a good feeling.
How do you build upon? How can it get better? What possibly could you have left on the table last season that you could be even better this year?
I'll just say improving. Just doing more. I haven't done. There's no limit. There's no limit on what I can do. So just been trying to improve and get better and help my team win and push us to as far as we can go.
Do you worry at all that you have more of a bullseye on your back this season, that now everybody in the country knows who Sean Tucker is, and they're coming into every game determined, hell-bent on shutting you down?
I feel like, I've been in those situations plenty of times, and to me it's nothing new. So I know that the defenses and teams are going to come, try to stop me and have me as the main focus, but it's not going to change what I do. I just got to prepare the same, play how I play.
I mean, again, obviously people caught on pretty quick a year ago, and there was still nothing they could do about it, as there was no slowing you down. Sean, obviously there's a second thought, which is, you've seen how the running back position has changed over the years, and at the NFL level, teams talk about how much tread is on someone's tire or something like that. Do you worry at all about those things? Do you worry at all about how much you're used and trying to keep an NFL future? Do you think about those things at all?
In the moment, I wouldn't say I focus on that too much. I'm just worried about the team and trying to do good for my team and help us get as far as we can and But seeing how the running back position has evolved and seeing how everyone's playing and how they're being more using the receiving game, the catching game, and trying to work on that part of my game and just trying to overall improve.
I understand that. Obviously, it wasn't as many receiving yards a year ago. Is that something that you think you're going to be used a little bit more this year, as catching the ball out of the backfield?
I would say that's definitely the plan for me.
Yep. As a guy who has moved into this world, you're in a unique spot. Sean Tucker, Calvert Hall alum, is with us here on GCR. You have become a known commodity within college football now in the NIL era. Can you explain, what it's been like as a guy who's now had the opportunity to take advantage of that and benefit yourself, your family, because of what you've accomplished on the field?
It's been good. Just getting in the process and learning all the stuff that comes with NIL and trying to start it up and start my own brand. It's been good and definitely enjoy the process.
There were people that when NIL first started said it's going to create problems in the locker room and guys aren't going to get as much attention. That always seemed very odd to me. I'm going to guess that you haven't felt that at all and that the guys on your team are happy for your success.
Yes, all my guys are supporters, everybody on the team. We're all one family, so everyone's definitely supporting me in that world.
I dig that. I think that's massive that it's worked out that way. Sean, your experience at Calvert Hall, the time there, and being around Coach Davis and that program, the way that it prepared you for this next level and the competition that you went up against. Can you explain to people how important it was those years that you spent at Calvert Hall?
Definitely those important years. Being in that league, playing against the teams that we play, high competition. They have guys that go to D1 schools all around in that league. And Coach Davis, he's one of the best coaches I had. And him being in my ear, helping me along and keeping me focused and just being a good coach to me, honestly.
That's awesome, man. Hey, I know winters are tough in Baltimore, but were you fully prepared for what you were signing up for, spending your winters in Western New York?
I would say not as much. It's definitely different up here.
You don't go outside at all up there, right?
Yeah. I know it's crazy up here. Definitely a lot.
It's nuts, man. There's tunnels and stuff so that you can just avoid even walking outside at times. It's a crazy place to be. Underrated part of Western New York. Are you a barbecue guy? Have you been able? I feel like people don't realize because everybody think the South, of course, is the home of barbecue in Kansas City and Memphis and South Carolina, but pretty underrated barbecue up that way, right?
Oh yeah, I would say so. They got some good barbecue spots up there. Yeah.
What else? What else do you like about spending your time up in upstate New York?
I'll say during the summers and stuff when it's finally gets hot and stuff, you can go outside and just explore and do some things outside instead of being all cooped up inside when it's snowing half the time.
Did you stay there over the summer? Or did you come back home?
I stayed up here during the summer.
Wow. What was the thought process?
Just wanted to stay up here and just keep working, stay focused on what I got to do for this upcoming season.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm sure your teammates, your coaches, I'm sure that meant the world to them that you made that decision. Have you ever allowed yourself to dream about the possibility? In Baltimore, they run the ball a lot. Have you ever allowed yourself to dream of the possibility of a homecoming one day and you putting on purple?
All the time, man. Definitely my number one choice, and hopefully I can, cards play out right. Maybe I can play up there one day.
Yo, that would be hair on your arm standing up type of stuff for it to work out that way. Did you grow up as a huge Ravens fan?
Yes, I've always been a Ravens fan.
Dude, that would be one of the greatest stories of all time, man. That would be absolutely incredible if it were to work out that way. Sean Tucker, let me get some plugs in. Twitter, Instagram. Where can folks around here be giving you a follow and paying attention to you and what you've got going on?
Twitter, my Twitter handle is Sean Tucker 2020, all one word, all lowercase. And Instagram is Tucker 5 times, all one word.
Give him a follow in those spots. Sean Tucker, man, we can't wait to see what's next for you, dude. We will be rooting for you wherever it ends up. And my God, if this ends up with you standing on a stage in New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony, you will have an entire city behind your back the entire way. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished so far. We can't wait to see what's next for you, man. Best of luck this year. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Sean Tucker, Syracuse running back, legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate. I get it. It's going to be tough. It's a year where there are quarterbacks. You look everywhere and you see the types of quarterbacks that are just monsters, and the Strouds and the Williams and the Youngs, and you just look everywhere and you say, holy crap, it's loaded. But the numbers this kid put up, the bonkers numbers, that 1,500 yards goes more towards like 2,000 plus. You can't ignore that. You can't pretend like that's not happening in college football. Appreciate Sean Tucker taking the time for us this morning. All right, today's show brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Still time for you to enjoy the summer seasonal menu at Glory Days Grill. South Carolina barbecue chicken. Just talking about barbecue. South Carolina barbecue chicken. Delicious. Lobster roll with the grilled corn. How about the smoky thigh wings with the Korean No. 2 sauce combined? That's actually not on the seasonal menu. That's just a Glenn Clark specialty. Order the smoky thigh wings. Cover them in the Korean No. 2 sauce. Be thankful that you're alive. GloryDaysGrill.com is the website. Get your order in right now. When we come back in, I'm going to explain to Griffin why I don't think he understands. We're going to do that when we come back in. I don't think he fully gets the significance of this moment. I don't think a lot of people do, but specifically based on what he said. And we're going to talk about that when we come back in. And we're going to talk some Orioles as well and set up their series, which gets underway tonight in Cleveland. That's on the way. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
What's up, everyone? This is Tyus Bowser, and I'm excited to tell you that I'm back for Season 2 of the Tyus Bowser Show in partnership with PressBox and Great Ace Memorabilia. Join us on Tuesday nights throughout the season as I'll be heading all over town with my special guests. And, of course, our co-hosts, Glenn and Rita. Or is it Rita and Glenn? What is it? I look forward to meeting you guys and talking a little bit about football and a lot about life. And if you happen to miss the show, you can now catch a replay Friday nights on 105.7 The Fan. Get all of your details for the Tyus Bowser Show right now at PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser.
The next Tyus Bowser Show is Tuesday, September 6th at 7 p.m. at Calvert Hall Brewery, 1611 Guilford Avenue in Station North. The Tyus Bowser Show is brought to you by Maryland Vascular Specialists and the all-new Ginsu Grill.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Sports betting has come to Maryland, and we're ready to help you win some money. Tune in for Simply the Bets every Tuesday morning at 11:40. FanDuel Sportsbook GM Leon Twyman and VSiN's Aaron Oster join the guys every week to give you all of the info you need and offer you a few winners. And every other Thursday at 11:40, tune in for Weekend at Bookies as Andrew Stecca and Alloy Sports' Brad Kronthal help make you some money for the weekend. So come win some money with us on Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday. Brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. Watch at YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline.
Hey, O's fans, enjoy Labor Day at the Yard this year with a full day of baseball, family fun, and a giveaway before the Orioles clash with the Toronto Blue Jays on Monday, September 5th at 1:05. Arrive early to celebrate Orioles slugger Ryan Mountcastle. Be one of the first 15,000 fans 15 and over and receive a Ryan Mountcastle t-shirt before catching the action-packed game. A variety of ticket options are available. Don't wait until the last minute. Secure your tickets now at Orioles.com/tickets.
Don't forget that full episodes of the show are available for free on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. But warning, you get what you pay for. You're listening to Glenn Clark Radio.
All right, back in here on GCR. If you missed it last night, Stan the Fan and Ross Grimsley caught up with Rich Dubroff, of course, of BaltimoreBaseball.com, talking some Orioles. If you missed that conversation, Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, PressBoxOnline.com/video. It is available in all of those locations. Stan the Fan doing shows for you every week. They'll be off next Monday because of the Labor Day holiday, of course. But then they'll be back in action, I believe, next. Hang on. I mean, they got two shows. They got a show this week for sure. And then I can this Wednesday. They're going to do it on Wednesday with Rob Ambrose. I remember that now. Towson football coach this Wednesday. Then they'll be off next Monday, then back in action after that. So I just had to, my brain, the old ticker up there. So Stan the Fan, Gary Stein, and Rob Ambrose tomorrow at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock with Rob Ambrose, previewing Towson football, which gets underway Saturday at Bucknell. Now, Griffin, you are trying to say that you understand what you.
I do, yeah.
So I've heard this from a lot of people. The way this has been stated is, and I saw this again from somebody, and I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but someone whose opinion I respect this morning on Twitter. Boy, this reminds me of Joe Flacco in 2012. Sorry, 2012, not 2012, which is not a thing. I guess would be 2032 is when that would be. This reminds me of Joe Flacco in 2012. Guy's going out, betting on himself, proving it. Imagine the magical season he'll have, and then he'll get the deal that he wanted afterwards. You're missing it. You're missing it. This isn't that. The Ravens aren't saying, we don't think you're worthy of a fully guaranteed deal. This isn't about Lamar Jackson. We're making it about Lamar Jackson because of who the player is. But it's not. This is not a reflection of him. It's a much broader statement. We don't think we can give this deal to anyone because it would alter the course of the league. We can't do this. You could be Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes all morphed into one player somehow. And we still couldn't do this. This isn't about Lamar Jackson earning a contract. This is about the pressure the Ravens feel from the league to say no. We are not going to alter the history of football and allow fully guaranteed contracts to become a trend. And again, it's easy for me to say, as I keep saying all morning, just do it. Just do it anyway. Because you're going to give him a mostly guaranteed deal. He's going to get all of his money. So what's the difference in calling it a guaranteed deal? And for the teams, the difference is the next guys. The difference is, if Lamar does it, then obviously Russell Wilson's going to do it. And if now it becomes standard for quarterbacks, the other top players are going to ask for the same. And at some point, our power is gone. The thing that we've had forever is gone. And it's not the Ravens' fault that the Browns did it with Deshaun Watson. But it happened. And now here we are. And you can tell me that there's a simple answer all you want. You can sit back and try to pretend like there is an easy, well, but you're not going to have a quarterback. I hear you. I hear you. But that doesn't make it easy for the Ravens either. Because they've got to answer to 30 more NFL teams. Steve Bisciotti's got to walk into a room with 30 other guys that own football teams and explain to them. Jimmy Haslam already did it. Jimmy Haslam's a piece of crap. I mean, Jimmy Haslam's a bad person. I don't think Jimmy Haslam much cares what anybody thinks of him. Apparently, it appears to be that way. So now what? And no matter how simplistic you try to make it to be, it can't be that simplistic. It can't be. This really is a seminal moment in the history of football. Is it possible that you could do a fully guaranteed deal with Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson would say, yeah, but that's not if the Broncos put up a fight, that Russell Wilson would say, dude, I got lots of money and my wife's got lots of money. We don't need that. Is it possible? Sure. But why would it be? Once it is the standard for contracts, why is anyone not asking for it? Anyone at all?
Yeah, so I do understand that. I promise I understand that. So once Lamar gets the fully guaranteed contract, obviously, yes, the offensive lineman asks for it, the receivers, the tight ends, the edge rushers, the safeties, everyone, and I understand that. And I think the point I was trying to make was that, if Lamar doesn't get this contract done before the season starts, he's going to go out and have an unbelievable season, and then that number for fully guaranteed money is just going to go even higher. So I think that is the other owners should be pushing for a deal to probably be signed before the season starts, because before he wins an MVP, wins a Super Bowl, and then we have to give him $400 million guaranteed or something.
Again, you're still fighting about something that isn't the actual fight. The number is irrelevant. It's the term fully guaranteed. The value of the deal is going to be exponential for until that bubble bursts at some point, until literally we realize there's no possible way for the NFL to recoup all of the money that they're paying to the players. The value of the deal is not germane to the topic. The owners don't care about how rich a deal is, because what they've always been able to do is use make-believe numbers. Well, yeah, it reads as a $100 million deal, but what it actually is
the Taysom Hill deal.
They've done this eternally. They don't care what the numbers are. What matters is 2 words: fully guaranteed. At least a dozen of these owners telling Bisciotti to stand firm would gladly pay Lamar $300 million guaranteed if he hit the open market. Maybe. Are those numbers fully guaranteed? We keep trying to dance around this part of it because we don't want to get it. We want it to be more simplistic than that. The fight is about those 2 words: fully guaranteed. Not the amount of the guarantee. The deal that Joe Corey suggested for the Ravens would be the most guaranteed money ever and would not get the Ravens in trouble with the owners and the rest of the league, because the fight is about 2 words: fully guaranteed. That's what the fight is. Would those owners give lots and lots of guaranteed money if they could avoid using the words fully guaranteed? Absolutely. Fully guaranteed is the problem. Not the amount of money. The amount of money is irrelevant. They can't let there be a trend of fully guaranteed deals, because then everyone's deals will have to be fully guaranteed moving forward. That's the thing. We're caught up in other things. Their situation is very, very simple. Cannot be fully guaranteed, because we cannot enter into an era of fully guaranteed contracts throughout the league. Whatever he does this year, be damned. If Russell Wilson signs a deal that's not fully guaranteed, problem solved. It's not a trend. The Ravens are happy to pay the money. I'd say happy to. I don't know if they're happy to do it or not. The Ravens will pay whatever the money is. The fight is those words. We're getting lost in numbers. It's very simplistic. They don't want to give someone $80 million of fully guaranteed money, because they've been able to hold it over somebody's head. If you get in trouble, if you get hurt, if you stink, whatever it is, we can get out of it. Once we get into the years where it's more friendly to us, we can move on. We don't have to pay you all of your money. And again, with quarterbacks, you're always going to end up paying the money. It's just the dirty little secret. But they don't have to do that. There's a reason why they can move on from a Brandon Williams. And there have been no other quarterback. We're going to be in the same spot. And there have been no other quarterback. We're going to be in the same spot. It's irrelevant. It's the fully guaranteed part that's the problem. No one's. This is from Parth. I don't know what your actual name is. Oh, Dave, sorry. People throwing around the idea of giving him $300 million guaranteed. No one is giving him that much money guaranteed. The jump that Watson got was massive compared to the next quarterbacks. There's no way this is sustainable, as the cap isn't going to go up at the same rate. Yeah, I mean, $300 million guaranteed is over the top, but I don't think that's I think we're fighting about numbers that are irrelevant. I don't know what the number is that Lamar Jackson's asking for. The wording of fully guaranteed is the fight. The fight's not really about the number. Whatever the number is what the number is. Yes, I am of the agreement that at some point we are teetering into bubble bursting territory. We are teetering into the league's got to figure out how this is going to work because it does become completely unsustainable at some point. But as I've told you before, the quarterbacks also understand a team that has a great roster and no quarterback can't win. A team that has a quarterback and a mediocre roster can. So their actual value is far greater than the percentage of the cap they've been getting. They know that. So that's a different conversation that we've been trying to figure out how that works. What they're tangibly worth percentage-wise to a franchise is more than 50%. Now, we also know if you gave more than 50% of your cap to one player, you'd be effed. It can't work that way. You would have to drive down, in a capped sport, you would have to drive down the prices that you're paying to other positions. There's no way that's sustainable. So they've got bigger problems they've got to figure out as the numbers go up. But again, that's not even the fight here. The fight is simple. 2 words. Fully guaranteed. Fully guaranteed. That's the fight. All right. We spent way too much. We spent most of the show doing this morning, screaming about it. But that's the reality of what's in front. I mean, this is what's in front of us. I mean, I know a football season is in front of us, but this, like the fight for the soul of football, is also in front of us right now. And who's going to win? And my gut is ultimately the players are going to end up winning because the players do have more of the leverage. But the owners are going to fight like hell to slow it down. And Lamar Jackson might end up being collateral damage in that. I'm trying to be as realistic as I can about this. The idea, if Steve Bisciotti was just going to give up on this, the deal would have already been done. If he was just going to cave and say, okay, fine, I'll be the guy, the deal would have already been done. It's clear he's in for the fight. It's clear he's going to represent the NFL and say, I'm not just going to give. Now, can that change if other quarterbacks get fully guaranteed deals and it becomes clear there's nothing the NFL can do any longer? That could 100% that could change. But he's also got time on his side. He knows the Ravens can spend 2 more franchise tags on Lamar Jackson. So they've got the benefit of 3 years. 3 years of being able to watch what happens elsewhere. And if in that time contracts go fully guaranteed, then it'll be easy for the Ravens to make the decision. If they don't, then at some point, Lamar's going to have to go back to the drawing board. Orioles open up a series in Cleveland tonight. Today's show also brought to you by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines. You can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today. Bad news last night. The Blue Jays rallied. Looked like the Cubs were trying to help the Orioles out, but Blue Jays were able to rally, get a win, so the Orioles enter this series 2 games behind Toronto. Again, with still lots of games in hand. They do get the benefit of a home series against Oakland this weekend, so it's a bit of a respite from the brutal schedule that they have largely played. This week, it's tough. I mean, this is a tough place to go play 3 games this week and try to get wins. The game started at 6 o'clock. I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Game started at 6 o'clock in Cleveland, which I think I would dig.
Yeah.
I think I would be in favor of that. I've told you before, in Arizona, it was 6:40, and it was the perfect. That was perfect. To me, that is exactly when games, 6:40, 6:45, get that head start. 6:40 really, even 6:35, would be the ideal time to me for games to start. But in Cleveland, they start them at 6:10, which is different. It's just I like the experiment. Watkins, Quantrill, Lyles, McKenzie, and Bradish, Bieber, the pitching matchups for the week. So 3 Cleveland starters that have all been very good this season. They have a thing about finding pitching in Cleveland. I don't know how to explain it. All they ever do They have a really good pitcher. That guy moves on, and then like, hey, look, here's another one.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Cal Quantrill.
Sure. I mean, why not? Why not? Like, that's just what they do. What they do is develop more pitching. I should probably try to replicate that throughout baseball because all they do is develop more and more and more and more pitching. There was obviously no news about Gunnar Henderson yesterday, so you continue to play the waiting game. Perhaps the Orioles are waiting for him to return home. That, as I've said before, I've always asked that the team and the baseball people and the PR people and the marketing people be a little bit more together about that, and it would be great for fans. This is kind of a nondescript weekend series against the Athletics, so you could heighten it by including a Gunnar Henderson debut, and if you were to, say, announce that today, you could generate an even larger crowd, maybe for a Friday night game at Camden Yards. It would have a good crowd anyway, but again, a nondescript opponent, so, maybe I think there could easily be 20 to 30,000 people at the game on Friday night as is. You could maybe bump that number up to 35,000. Also, I believe there are some promotions this weekend as well.
Well, and the big thing is that if he's not on the roster by August 31st,
then he couldn't be on a playoff roster, correct? So that's tomorrow is the deadline for that. So you know what? That's a great point. But does he have to be on the active roster or just the 40?
Yeah, it might be just be the 40.
I think it's just the 40-man roster that he has to be on.
So maybe they'll just have him sit around until Friday, or
I mean, they could put him on the 40-man roster without calling him up. I mean, they could keep him there until Friday. Look, I get why the assumption. No, there's no Friday promotion. There's the soccer jersey on Saturday and the tote bag on Sunday, but there's no Friday promotion. I think that's the rules, that he has to be on the 40-man roster, not on the active roster.
Got it.
It would certainly be electric if that were to be the case, and I can't fathom them not making that move simply to make sure that he would be available should they get to the playoffs, unless they've been hell-bent on him not being a major leaguer this season, which seems very odd. So you would expect an announcement of some sort today or tomorrow. I get why we would continue to hope the announcement would just be him being moved to the active roster, even if that means he starts on the road, because right now the Orioles could use the offensive help if he can provide it. So we will see. The news, as I mentioned earlier, Rick Grayson Rodriguez is going to pitch at Aberdeen on Thursday, and Colton Cowser was called up to AAA. So otherwise significant news within the system. All right. Very good. Tidbit is brought to you by the print issue of Pressbox, which is available right now at your neighborhood Royal Farms and at the hundreds of locations around town where you find Pressbox. You can read it all, PressBoxOnline.com. On the cover, that's Mark Andrews, Larger Than Life, a great story from Bo Smolka about Mark Andrews' arrival to NFL stardom and how unlikely it really was, plus a lot of college football coverage inside. We introduce you to players from all of the local teams. Great print issue of Pressbox available right now at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find Pressbox, or read it all, PressBoxOnline.com.
All right, so Aaron Judge, we mentioned it earlier. He homered again last night. That gives him 50 home runs, 5-0 on the season. It is his second season with 50-plus home runs, and he joins an elite club of only 10 individuals who have hit 50 home runs in multiple seasons. So, Glenn, can you name the 9 others to hit 50 home runs in multiple seasons?
There's only 9 guys that hit 50 home runs in multiple seasons? Really?
Really.
That seems small, doesn't it?
It does seem small, but...
all right, Bonds.
Yes, sir. Well, no. Not Barry Bonds.
Wait, what?
Barry Bonds never... Unless my research was very bad.
Was there a setup here? Was there a time frame? Was there a...
No.
Dude, No. There's no way.
Yeah, he hit 73 and then 49.
That's unbelievable.
I know.
That's really unbelievable.
Okay, so thank God I did my research right. I was like, you scared me to death there. I was like,
wow.
Should I F up bad at it?
Ah.
So no, Barry Bonds not on the list.
Okay. That is the most shocking thing. I can't believe that's possible. I mean, of course, he was getting intentionally walked about 1 billion times every season. Manny Ramirez.
Not Manny Ramirez.
That's surprising, too. How about Mark McGwire?
There you go. Mark McGwire did it 4 times, 4 years in a row, from 96 to 99.
Sammy Sosa.
Also did it 4 years in a row, from 98 to 2001.
Willie Mays.
Willie Mays did it twice.
So yes.
So yes. Sorry. He fits the criteria.
Hank Aaron.
Not Hank Aaron.
This is so stunning. Jim Thome.
No.
How about Babe Ruth?
Wow, Hank Aaron never hit more than 47. Yes, Babe Ruth did it 4 times.
3
guys have done it 4 times. Sosa, McGuire, and Babe Ruth.
Alex Rodriguez.
Alex Rodriguez did it thrice.
Thrice.
3
you
times.
say.
Alex Rodriguez hit 50 home runs. 2 really old guys. Ken Griffey, there you go.
2 really old guys. Mickey Mantle?
Mickey Mantle, and then even older.
Even Jimmy Fox.
Jimmy Fox.
And there's one more?
Yes, one more of the Pittsburgh Pirates in the 40s.
Ralph Kiner?
Ralph Kiner, yes, sir. And that is the list.
I wasn't actually certain that Ralph Kiner had played for the Pirates.
Well, good guess.
Oh, man. All right. Very good. I learned something here. I know.
My
mind is blown. My mind. I mean, I guess I guarantee I've heard that before, but it never filed it away as a fact in my mind. That is mind blowing. All right. Very good. Tubular brought to you by the Tyus Bowser Show, which is back 1 week from tonight, Tuesday, September 6th. We kick off the season with Tyus and his special guests at Calvert Hall Brewery in Station North, 1611 Guilford Avenue. Can't wait to be there. It's going to be another great season. Tyus won't be on the field yet to start, but he will be back soon, and he will be with us all season long. Your opportunity to come out and meet your favorite Baltimore football players. I mean, what are we doing? You can go to PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser to find out more. It's a partnership of PressBox and Great 8's memorabilia. If you missed the show live, you'll be able to watch or listen to it via PressBox's various platforms, and also Friday nights this season on 105.7 The Fan. I can't wait to see you. I love Tyus. It's been a lot of fun. And again, you can find out more about where we're going to be, but the first one is next Tuesday, September 6th, ahead of Week 1. We will be at Calvert Hall Brewery, 1611 Guilford Avenue in Station North. Awesome atmosphere, awesome spot. We will see you then for the Tyus Bowser Show, brought to you by Maryland Vascular Specialists and the all-new Ginsu Grill. Here's what's coming up, totally tubularized. Oh, you know what? I actually brought my iPad so I could have tennis on right now. Damn it. As I mentioned, Orioles, Guardians open up a serious night in Cleveland. Spencer Watkins, Cal Quantrill, the pitching matchup, 6 o'clock on MASN. Athletics Nationals at 7 on MASN 2. Yankees Angels at 9:30 on MLB Network. U.S. Open coverage throughout the day on ESPN, and then it adds. It will also be on ESPN2 tonight at 7 o'clock. Maryland's own Francis Tiafoe in action a little bit later on Court 17 against Marcus Giron. The USA Network for WWE NXT tonight at 8. Some non-sports highlights?
Hard Knocks tonight, of course. What We Do in the Shadows, penultimate episode of Season 4. Dana White's Contender Series. You forgot that for the sports highlights.
Sure.
Yes, big deal.
Yeah.
Another Untold episode. This one, Operation Flagrant Foul. This one's the Tim Donaghy.
I was excited about this.
Yes.
I was excited about this.
So
I'm going to watch it.
That one will be interesting.
I watched the McAfee thing.
Did you?
After the Serena match last night. I had Kyrgios on in the background. Boy, what a bummer for Taylor Fritz, man. Jesus Christ. And especially with Tsitsipas losing, this was his opportunity. This was his chance for a moment, and he loses in the first round to a qualifier. It sucks. But yeah, I put that on last night, and I watched it. It is, I mean, that guy, paranoid as F. That guy was living a bizarro life.
All right. I'll have to make sure I check that one out. And then finally tonight on Hulu, The Patient series premiere. Steve Carell, it's like a psychological thriller. Steve Carell, he's got a nice white beard. He looks pretty sick.
Okay.
And he's a therapist, and he's treating General Hux from Star Wars. He was also Ron Weasley's brother in Harry Potter.
Okay.
I can't really pronounce his name. It's Domhnall Gleeson. He's a great actor.
I believe you.
And but General Hux is a serial killer who Steve Carell is treating. But then Steve Carell gets like trapped or something by General Hux.
Okay.
And General Hux is like, I need you to help me because like he knows he's like mentally ill or whatever. It looks pretty
that's cool.
Looks interesting.
That's
Steve Carell, so you know.
I dig it. All right, very good. Thanks today to Sean Tucker, Baltimore's own Heisman Trophy candidate, as well as to Jim Bowden. We'll get it up in the greatest hits section of the tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Anything tomorrow?
Tomorrow
Guess
we
Drew
should
will
be
probably join
stopping
us.
at Bowie. We should be stopping at Bowie tomorrow.
Okay, Bowie tomorrow. I'm stuffing things. Thanks, everybody at Pressbox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Glory Days Grill, Royal Farms, the Costas Inn, Great 8's Memorabilia, the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, Maryland Vascular Specialist, the all-new Ginsu Grill, the Baltimore Orioles, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Tuesday night. Go Birds. Duke sucks. Ohio State sucks too. If you are with us on audio, do nothing. If you're with us on video, give us a minute. Come back to where you started, youtube.com/PressBoxOnline or Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Simply